Poppin' fellas, week 6 of the MPFL spreads. Let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of games. We've got a lot of trades. There's a lot of action to get into. We're starting to get into the meat of the season if they complete a full season. So let's get right to it. We are going to go first to the game of the week, which is the West Indian Chocolate Thunder arriving in Bergen Bulldog Land. Now, this is a big game for both teams. We're 4-1. Bergen is 3-2. They're making a move in their division right now. They're one game out of first place, I believe. And we've got this game right now at a 4.5-point Thunder favorites on the road at Bergen. Thunder 3-2 against the spread, and Bergen is 2-3. Let's take a look deeper at the matchups. Now, as irony would have it, Dak goes down. We're scrambling to get Dalton's name. We're on the telephone. Girl won't get off the phone, and by the time we find Dalton, he's on the Bergen. And Bergen's got him plugged into his lineup like he's somebody. So that is very concerning because, one, Dalton has a great matchup. He's got great weapons, and we know Dalton's been a competent quarterback. So this actually might be good for Dallas. And good for Bergen because Bergen has been struggling to find competent quarterback play this whole year. Trotting out Garoppolo, Mullins, I don't know, Fitzmagic, all these different guys. But now he's got a guy with 3 great receivers and a good running game. So that scares us. That made us have to go out and get a competent quarterback. So we got Goff, we got Breeze. But losing Dak's a big deal. But we offset that, we think, with a nice little trade of Darren Sports. CEH for Adam Thielen. So we were able to, pick up the right now the number one wide receiver in fantasy. Going forward, he should be doing his things. We're a receiver-heavy core right now, so we don't have a lot of running backs, but we've seen teams win with receivers in the past with one decent back. So we're happy about that. Mike Davis has been the goods. I mean, if McCaffrey wants to just take the year off and get better for 2021, please do that. Hilaire's last game with the Thundercats, so we wish him well. We think he should go off. Robinson, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Adams is back. Devontae from Jodeci is back. He's in top 3 wide receiver when he's in the game. On Bergen's side, Dalton, Henry, King Henry, one of the best. Darrell Henderson, you got to hope he gets in the end zone. There's a couple guys he's splitting there, but, this James Robinson cat scares the bejesus out of us because he's going to get 120 and 2 touches, and that's very, very concerning. Cooper with Dalton on the double up. Diggs he's been digging it this year. Kelsey's a top wide receiver. We got Jonnu Smith, who's the number 1 tight end right now. So that's a good battle. And the defenses are comparable. So this one is going to be a really, really good matchup. Watch this game this week. This is your game of the week, fellas. Moving on. The Rhode Island Rampage arrive at South Street. The only thing I think that's going to be, I guess exciting about this game is, who gets the quicker cheesesteak and enjoys it faster, because this game is, as they say, DOA, dead on arrival, is SSP. We've got a 21.5-point road favorites for Rhode Island, who is 3-2 against the spread. SSP has been 2-3 this year. And there's not really much to talk about here. You got Patty Mahomes, Elliott. All right, Zeke is out, but Peterson's in. He's getting all the burn. Gibson, Godwin is back, no injury designation, and Marquise Brown, right? And he's been hit or miss, but he's all right. But let's look on the SSP side, who he got. Kyler Murray, okay, cool. David Johnson, he tried to talk to me about this cat this week. Yo, fuck you, son. Fuck you. Beasley, Cole, Isabella, and Ridley. I mean, does that like make you shiver in your seat wherever you're watching this right now? No, it does not. His tight end is out, so he's on bye. The man's so defeated that he hasn't even set his roster yet. So at this point, as of Sunday morning, this game is a complete and utter blowout. And on defense, Rampage features the greatest animal right now in the game, Myles Garrett, who forces a fumble and gets a sack in the first quarter of every game. So it's just unbelievable. He's got Chase Young plugged in there like he's somebody, but he's going up against the Giants, and Blake Martinez is the best linebacker in the game right now. So this one is 21.5. Honestly, you could say it's going to be 31.5, but that's crazy. We have a 30-point game this week already, so one is enough for the week. But yeah, this one, put your money on Rhode Island and have yourself a day. Okay, this one is another really, really good game this week because it's 2 teams that are at 2-3, and they're looking to get a playoff push. Both of them. You've got the Slaughterhouse and Don Quan visiting East Coast, the East Coast players. Right now, the spread is 6.5 for Slaughterhouse, and we'll explain why. On the road, they're 4-1 against the spread, so their best team against the spread this year. ECP is a comfortable 3-2 against the spread. Now, Aaron Rodgers is back. Now, last week was a tough week for Slaughterhouse. Rampage was out. I mean, not Rampage was out. Rodgers was out. He got 25 from Roethlisberger, but you know when you have a guy that's getting you 30 plus and you've been relying on to win games, if Rodgers had played, he probably would have won, right? He lost by 6 points on a taken back Emmanuel Sanders call by a dick hair at the half-yard line, and he would have won on tiebreakers. So that's a heartbreaking loss right there. But Rodgers is back. He's at Tampa Bay, which is a tougher matchup, but Rodgers is just like on another level right now. He's had 2 weeks to prepare. He's good. The reason why the spread is so chunky here is because Brian's new pickup of Herbert is on bye. So he had to dip into the wire, and who did he find? Nothing more than Teddy Bridgewater. And he's playing Chicago. Now, Chicago's got a pretty decent defense. They're not what they were. People like to talk about the Chicago D. It's not the 85 Bears we're talking about. So Bridgewater should do his thing, but I mean, Rodgers should outpoint him by at least 15 to 18 points. So that's where you make up the difference in the spread. Obviously, Rob took Madison, I think in the 4th or 5th round to back up Cook. He knew that Cook, the vaginal cord could break at any time, and it did last week in Seattle. He was sleepless in Seattle, and he got Madison right, smartly so. And he's got him plugged in, and he's going up against Atlanta. So he's going to get you 20, right? Guaranteed bank it. This guy Madison is a fucking animal. If he was on another team, he'd be a top 5 back. Like this guy Addison, he looks like just like Cook. Like you didn't even know who the difference. They both got dreads. They're running all over the field. I mean, it's the Predator out there. Brian has Swift plugged in like he's somebody. You know what it is, man. He's splitting with 3 guys. He's garbage. He'll get him 2. Brian's teams are made up this week of Hardman, Preston Williams, Lamb, and Anderson. Now, Lamb and Anderson, we really like. They've been doing well, but Chicago's pass defense is all right. Preston Williams could go off. But this could be a letdown game for Fitz. When you ever look at Fitz's history, sometimes he has like 2 or 3 back-to-back games of like great games, and then he has a shitter, 280, 3 picks, 1 touchdown. That's why we're not even playing Devontae Parker this week, because we just can't fuck around with Fitz magic right now. And Hardman, because of the Watkins injury, could be solid. On Rob's side, thank God Bell didn't go to friggin' Miami, because Gaskins now has the whole job to himself. Julio Jones is back. You worry about the hamstring, but you got to plug him in when he's there. Scantling Clad is in. Mike Evans is going to get you two touchdowns and 10 yards. And the defenses are pretty solid for both. So we do like this is the second game of the week, and we do again see Slaughterhouse coming out with a much-needed victory. Moving on to another destruction of the week. Bermuda's 3-2. We all know the deal. The Penn Hebrews are 0-5, and we've got this spread right here, 17.5 for Bermuda at Penn. Penn is 1-4 against the spread. Bermuda is 2-3, and Bermuda doesn't have Wilson this week, but he picked up Cousins, to play against Atlanta secondary, giving up the most yards to quarterbacks and wide receivers, like in the top 3. Wentz is playing Baltimore's defense, so you cannot like that. We know Wentz is trash. Mixon, Mostert is back. Ronald Jones has been somebody. Crowder has been somebody. Hill, we know the deal with Hill, the fastest cheetah in the NFL. So this team's core is super solid. They've had some bad luck in a couple of games, but they're 3-2, and they really have a solid team. We know what's the deal with Penn right now. They've got Ingram in like he's somebody, Laundry, Boyd, Jefferson, and more. It's just really a sad state of affairs in Penn land. What's been happening is there's been a lot of uproar. I'll tell you, fans have been showing up to the games. They have limited capacity. I don't know why, because people shouldn't be going to these games here in Pennsylvania, but they do. Cooper and his team wanted to let them in. Fans have been showing up with signs like this. Adam Gase for Chad Cooper, straight up, greater than Cooper. They want to trade for him. One guy showed up, Chad Crapper and company need to go. There are bags people with bags at the stadium. It is an unbelievable, sad state of affairs at Penn Hebrews. The trade deadline is approaching. No, there is no action, to trade to get better. If I'm this team, I move off McCaffrey. I get 2 picks and a keeper for him, and I try to rebuild, just completely rebuild my franchise, because right now the Penn Hebrews are the New York Jets of the NPFL. Moving on. We've got Puerto Rican Armada visiting Bristol. Puerto Rican Armada is installed at a 6.5 point favorite at Bristol. It's a bit surprising, but we're going to explain. Armada's 2-3 against the spread, and Bristol's 3-2. Now, friends, the Bristol Warrior are the most, I guess, the luckiest, most smoked and mirrored 4-1 team we have ever seen in our life. They're averaging 81 points a game, and the average against them is 80 points a game. So they have the lowest average scoring team in the top 3 of that, and they have the number one lowest, I guess, scoring against in the league, right? That's why when you do a projection to the end of the season, they end up as with 6 or 7 wins. And that projection is going to come to today. They are the tech bubble JDS Uniphase, we want to say, of this season, meaning they're a bubble team. They've been very lucky, and that bubble and that Cinderella shoe is about to drop. This shit is about to burst, and it's going to burst this weekend, friends. It's going to burst this weekend. Armada is a solid ass team, and we're going to talk about this game in depth right now. So you got Josh Allenby. Past last week, but for last week, he was a top 3 quarterback and also an MVP candidate. So he's going to get right against KC. Deshaun Watson is good. Thank God. We saw what happened with O'Brien gone. Watson's able to, work and free himself up, let Watson cook. And he's solid, but you got to give you got to give the advantage to Allen there. Miles Sanders versus David Montgomery. Sanders is going up against Baltimore, but if he can do what he did against Pittsburgh and get with all the burn, he's going to be fine. McKissick, we don't like McKissick because Mostert is just getting all the burn, but McKissick is in there. He might get 2 or 3 points. Okay. This guy's got Josh Brown coming off injury, plugged into the lineup like he's somebody. We're not really thrilled about that. Galladay, Chark, and Smith-Schuster round up Puerto Rico's team this week. So that's a real pretty solid core of wide receivers. The tight end game is shit, but so is Bristol's with Ingram versus Hooper. On Bristol's side, this is where this game comes down to, because Bristol's got in some waiver wire fire in Patrick and Fulgham. Like they're somebody. They're going up against New England and Baltimore. So this guy Patrick is probably going to see one of those McCourty brothers. And this Fulgham guy is going to see Marlon Humphrey, right? Because he's the number 1 in Philadelphia. He's going to be shut the fuck down, right? D-Hop is dope. We know D-Hop is the best of the best, the number 1 wide receiver this week. He's at Dallas. But there's only so much D-Hop and Watson can do to carry this team, right? You scoring 80 points a game. There's some shit coming, B. The defenses are solid. Aaron Donald is with Puerto Rico, and Aaron Donald is just a different person. He's not human. He's from Mars, this guy. This guy's a complete and utter fucking animal. Okay, moving on. Final game of the week is the your shit game of the week. You've got the Rottweilers at Fart Breakers. Rottweilers 2-3 against the spread. Fart is 4-1. And this game is a 30.5 point favorite for Hart. There's really not a lot to talk about here. There was a big trade. We're going to do some trade analysis after this commentary here. Rottweiler did get Lamar Jackson. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But on Hart's side, let me talk about this core right now. You got Brady. You got Hunt, a top 3 running back, right, this week. You've got Gurley, a top 5 running back this week. You got Adam Jones, a top 2 running back this week. You got Adam Thielen, his last game with Hart, want to show him what he's going to be missing going up against that Atlanta secondary, the worst secondary in the world. You've got Fuller at Tennessee. Fuller is back with Watson and O'Brien, with O'Brien gone and Watson in total control, right? Defense, Baker, Defensive Player of the Year, Watt, TJ Watt, and Fred Turner, who's just steady, right? Fred Turner, you get you those 4 or 5 tackles, cool. Watt gets you the splash plays to go with this team. This team's gonna score 110 points this week, right? Minimum. You go over on the Puerto Rico side. You've got Lamar Jackson. All right, nice deal. We're gonna talk about it later. Taylor, he for some reason Taylor's just not getting all that burn. Dobbins, you hope he gets in the end zone, but he gets 2 carries. Akers, you hope he gets in the end zones. He gets 6 carries. You got Sonalt, Cup, and then the rest of the defense: Averson, Williamson, Smith is back, and Willie Gay. I mean, the squad is gay, if you ask me. And basically, what it is, Puerto Rico is building for the future. You know, they put together a nice core, young talent. Lamar Jackson, Taylor, and Dobbins, probably the keepers going into next year. So, get a drink. So we like that. We like where they're headed. They amassed a ton of picks, and they rebuilt the core young with 2 young running backs and Lamar Jackson. So kudos to Puerto Rico to trying to obviously look to the future. But for this year, they're just a straight jizz taker. Just a jizz taker for the rest of the year. That's really what it is. Okay, before we go, friends, we're gonna talk about some of the deals in the NPFL. Let me just go to them real quick. So, of course, we had the Herbert Jackson deal, which was a big one this week. We like it. We like it. We like it a lot. We think that I think it was pretty even because of the picks changed. But we do like Justin Herbert going forward. We do think that he's going to be a sensational quarterback. He plays in a division where there's a lot of throwing. You got to keep up with a lot of teams like the Chiefs, the Raiders, and Broncos, and all 3 of those defenses aren't great. So Herbert's going to get his. Lamar Jackson is an MVP player in the league. However, this year he's come back down to earth a little bit. He's not running as much for whatever reason. The problem with Jackson is that he's still inaccurate as a passer, and he if he's not running, then his value is very, very limited. So hopefully they'll do some more design runs for him. I can understand they want to keep him healthy, and Baltimore's really been blowing people out. So there's not a need when you're winning 28-3. There's no need to make Jackson run down the sidelines. Just hand it off, throw the ball. But right now, Jackson really isn't a top 5 quarterback. So you hope he can get back to form. We had to overpay. We overreacted when we saw Dak break his leg. We were on the wire. We were on making phone calls, especially when we couldn't get Dalton. And we had to, make a deal to get 2 quarterbacks, middling quarterbacks, but hopefully our flex play can take us where we want to go. But we just need these quarterbacks to get us 18, get us 22. Don't shit the bed. And we like the streaming value of Goff and the steadiness of Brees. We looked at the schedules for the rest of the year, throwing Kazir White and Smith. White is going to be a top 7 linebacker for the rest of the year. He's just a fucking animal. He's all over the field making tackles. So we like that. And we think, obviously, that's a deal where Puerto Rico got additional picks. Puerto Rico's going to be a fucking beast next year, complete beast. And then that's it. That was really the 2 big trades of the week. The Chark trade it is what it is. You're getting yourself baby Chark. But that's it, fellas. So enjoy week 6. We hope everyone has a great week. Enjoy the games. 2 Monday night games, which is awesome. I actually like the Tuesday night game too because it was just fun to have football on Monday, Tuesday, and Sunday. But again, guys, enjoy the rest of your week and talk to you next week. Peace.